Hello, welcome back to another pen talk. I've been on a roll, so this is the third one that I've done in the past couple days, and there might be a fourth one. Depends upon timing and motivation. It is Super Bowl Sunday, so obviously I have to watch the game, so that'll cut into it, but then the sunlight will be gone by then. Enough rambling. What you see in front of you might be obvious. To those it's not obvious. We're looking at a TWSBI pen here, and the pen we're going to look at today is the Mini VAC, which is here in the front. Behind it is the Eco, which I did a review on a few months ago, TWSBI 580, which I have not done a review on, and the Pelican M800 also that I did a review on. I have these three pens there basically to take a look at it from a TWSBI perspective, and also to put the size in perspective, because the M800 is considered like an oversized pen. And as you can see, the 580 and the Eco hold their own as far as overall size goes. So that's one of the things to keep in mind. It seems to be, it's about a 5.4 inches in length pen. But, it's called a Mini VAC, and so it's a mini pen. Hopefully no one is confused by that. I don't have a vac filler before, at least not a modern vacuum filler. So I was intrigued to get the pen. When I went online about a month ago, the pen seemed to be selling out quite a bit all over the place. So I knew I'd be at the Philadelphia Pen Show, and Anderson Pens would be there. So I talked with Brian, and he suggested I order the pen and pick it up at the show, which is nice because I didn't have to pay any shipping. And that was okay for me. I didn't need it right away. So let's take a look at the pen. And to me, the first thing that should be obvious to everybody is it's a TWSBI. Besides the logo on the top of the cap, the way the clip looks, the way the pen looks, it has a substantial feel to it. None of the TWSBIs feel cheap, considering they are somewhat inexpensive pens in the scheme of things. The plated metal is plated very, very well. Seems to hold up well. In TWSBI fashion, they put the name of the pen on the cap band, and of course TWSBI there below the clip. It's just an unscrew cap. It posts, interestingly, it kind of snaps in place. I think part of the problem is this is it is screwed all the way in. Oh, my mistake, it screws on. Goes to show you that you need to pay attention to your pens. Hey, I'll hold it left-handed. It's a standard nib from TWSBI. Yeah, it's probably a number 5 or maybe even smaller. Sorry, I did experiment with some ink beforehand. I wanted to be certain that the ink I chose for this demo would be adequate. So I think one of the things that people talk about is lining up the cap with the nib, because when you post it, you want to not have the clip be in that foot part of your hand. So I guess there's ways of doing it. That kind of works there. You don't have to screw it in all the way. So you can get it to line up. Overall, my first impressions of the pen were very nice. I have flushed it because there have been some comments about some flow issues. One of the interesting things in the Philly Pen Show, when Jim was tuning my Franklin Christophs, he took the feed and nib assembly apart, and he used a cotton swab with a mild ammonia detergent solution, the standard 10% ammonia with a couple drops of detergent in it, to swab out and clean the nib. So in case there was any grease, oil, or any residue left there from the manufacturing process, he removed it. I just think the way TWSBI uses their plastics and those facets that they put in there, and I just like it. As an engineer, I find it to be extremely interesting. The fact that their pens can be taken apart, cleaned, kind of in a noodler's type of view. So that's what's nice. It comes in your standard TWSBI box. No reason to go into any details. You can see the price there. TWSBIs don't seem to be heavily discounted or sold on eBay at a discount, so that's kind of interesting how they control the supply. You know, standard kind of upscale TWSBI box, a little bit more than the one on the Echo, but then this is twice the price of the Echo, so one would expect that. I decided I needed an ink that would look nice inside of this great demonstrator style pen, so I went with Navajo Turquoise from Noodlers. It's a kind of nice turquoise style ink. So as I said, I've already put the pen through its paces in filling, and I have a few questions which I'm going to put to the crowd when we do this. So it's again standard vac filler. You unscrew the blind cap, you pull up the piston, insert into ink, and we'll listen. And it fills the pen. Now that's about a third of the way. I wouldn't call that a very big fill. You also notice you got some ink down here. So one of the things to do is to pull the piston down with ink in it. Push it back. Well, let's see what that'll do. That sounded nice. That's about the fill that I'm going to get. So we're going to bring it back out of the ink. We're going to do a little rag wrap. Put the cap back on. Set the ink aside. I mean, it's just a nice color inside that pen. I wouldn't call that a very big fill. I'm going to have to experiment around with the fill or watch some more videos on it. So I'm certain there's a way of getting a pretty big fill in the pen. This is just a medium nib. The fines and broads were sold out at Anderson's. So as you can hear, you know, it's a classic, I don't remember what the German manufacturer was, the nib. It's a classic nib. It writes fine. I wouldn't expect anything else from it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You know, medium wetness, I'd call it a 5 out of 10. Not that I can actually judge that, but, you know, based on other people that have talked about flows in a factor of 10. So overall, I like the pen. I do have a need and a use for smaller pens that you can throw in your pocket. Not a pen that you'd write with. You could write with it unposted. I mean, I have medium-sized hands and it fits okay. The section is easy to grip. There's nothing really sharp threads there, so you can hold it where you'd like. Overall, I'm impressed with the pen. The only thing I need to do is practice more on my filling. So that's where it goes. So I thought we'd just take a quick look at uncapped, how they compare, you know, your mini vac with your Echo. As you can see, there's a substantial difference in length. The 580 was never designed to be posted. I've had my ink challenges when I post it. And then, of course, the M800 is you know, obviously the oversized pen of the group, officially oversized pen. But the mini posted does work well. You know, as pens goes, if you like a vac filler, and like I said, I gotta need to figure out how to fill it all the way up. It's certainly worthwhile investment. If you love TWSBIs, then it's even a better investment. I've used this Echo I've had this inked up since I bought it, and it always writes first time. As you can see, the nib is pretty much the same as the one in the mini vac as far as how it writes. You don't hear anything, very smooth. So that's been a workhorse in my, and that red ink I have in here, the Yama Irashuku Mohamiti is very nice. I went back and experimented with using the vacuum fill. And if you close it all the way, let the ink drain down to the bottom, open it up, pull the piston down till it's just right at the top of the ink fill, and then do another plunger into the ink bottle, you'll get more of a fill. So I really think the color looks cool in this transparent thing. I think that's about as full as I'm going to be able to get it. I'm certain there's about maybe 2.5 milliliters in there, which is a decent amount of ink. I still find that the piston fillers, I think, will probably hold more ink, but then they're not considered a mini pen. So we revisited that fill mechanism. I'm glad it finally got a little bit fuller. So I hope to share a little bit of information from you on this pen that came out from TWSBI. It just writes well. It's a good, steady workhorse pen is what I would call it. And I think if you expect anything else from it, that's probably not what it was designed to do. It's going to write every time, first time, interesting, unique filling system, well made. So, hey, if you like it, I would definitely pick one up when they're available. You know, get the nib size that you want. So, thank you again for viewing. Hopefully you enjoyed this little quick look at maybe a classic at some point in time in the future, the TWSBI VACmini. Bye.